I'm back. What this video is all about is the VegaTrem, or VegaTrem some people might say. I'll call it a VegaTrem. So what we're going to do is get down and take a real close look at this thing. Yes, the VegaTrem. I was asked a few times to review the VegaTrem by different subscribers and things like that. And I was going to get to it, but it takes a lot of time and a lot of money to actually develop each product and go and find one. In this case, VegaTrem contacted me, so I didn't pay for this, but make no mistake, the review will be exactly as I find it. And by the way, when we've looked at the Trem, we're actually going to slap it on a Strat. I have a few things to do on that Strat, so it's about the right time to grab one of these and fit it and show you what's good, what's bad, whether it works for me or whether it doesn't, and how it sounds, of course. So let's take it off the stand and look a bit closer. So what you're really seeing here is exactly how the VegaTrem comes. And this one's designed for the older style of tremolo unit, the one with the 6 screws in for a Fender Strat, and that's what it's going to be fitted on. I have had this out and had a quick look, but well, there's no harm in doing that, is there? Well, there's the arm. Looks nice enough to me. Reminds me somehow of similar ones with them on. Well, we'll come back to that. We've got lots of little packets, if you can see them. I'm just going to pull them all out for now and get down to the brass tacks of the thing. Well, I don't think there's any brass in it actually. There it is in the bottom. So let's move the box. So what do we get? I don't know. I've never seen inside this before either, by the way, so I'm as biased as you would be, which is actually unbiased because I've never seen one. Well, there's one piece. I'll have a quick look at these, I think. Just pull them out, see what we've got. Okay, well, we've got some, looks like it says here, high tension. High tension what? Well, springs, of course. Move them over there. We've got some medium tension springs, which will be the same thing but medium tension. And we've got some low tension springs. Yeah, you can see low tension. We'll put them over there too because that gets a bit boring. We've got some extra low tension springs. Springy, man, springy. And we've got something here called standard. Well, let's open this up. That sounds a bit more exciting, doesn't it? Or does it? Let's see what's in here. Well, we've got 4 screws and a couple of components. So what else can I say? And I've actually got one other component, which is probably the bit that goes on your guitar. Let's peel it off that one. It's just called standard, which suggests that there's a non-standard one, right? I wondered where this was. Here we are. This is another standard item. Move them out of the way. And this one's all about the mount for your guitar. You can see down there, if you look really careful, there's a couple of slots. So what the plan is you mount this on your guitar with the holes. And then this piece, remember that? Yeah, it sort of fits in there, like so. It looks like it'll work, but we're going to find out if it'll work. Well, in a true sense, we're going to fit it to a guitar. Let's get a bit closer to this and have a look at this and the quality of it before we do that, because these are not particularly low-cost tremolos. They're quite expensive. But it does actually look to me, right from the off, that it's been exceedingly well made. Well, here we are, a bit closer. And by the way, this Trem, this VegaTrem, it's called the VT1 Ultra Trem, and it's really well machined. You can see straight off that it's had a lot of work put behind it somehow. The materials look like high tensile steel or at least that. Very high quality finish, very high quality. You can just see it throughout the thing. And when we look at the top, well, we've got the usual sort of things. We've got some very nice saddles here. Those will be ultra high quality steel, there's no question. You see that they're close in there. You can see that they're very well rounded. You've got the usual grub screws, and you've got some grub screws at the back, and these screws on the top that allow the saddle to move, but for the intonation, that is. Well, what that's about is you slack the top off, and you can adjust this until you get it right, which moves this thing backwards and forwards. And then it's all good to go. Tighten it back up, and it's locked in place. Another thing about this that is important, some people might not think, well, they might not even know so, but you can see these don't move side to side. And when they're shut down like this, they are locked in place, really solid. And I like to see that, because the fact is, when they move like this, like indeed the Fender ones can, I think that's a bit of a problem, right? When they lock down like this, it's another story. It really is. I mean, they're never going to move. So the overall quality of this looks to be pretty good. And that says there, I don't know what that reference is, but let's not worry. It's an L22/2-0251, whatever that is. I noticed we got a number of little different things that some are spoken about in the instructions and some aren't. Well, how does the arm fit? Tight is the word, but not that tight. And once you screw it down, as you can, you get the idea. What I like is that thing's going to stay in place, which is always important to me. So that's a bit of a plus. Some guys might not like this screwing down. I don't mind it too much, and I like the little rubbers there that sort of hold everything in place. Very nice. I'm pretty sure you'll be able to get replacements of them when they do wear out, because they'll either wear out or rot away, won't they? Yeah, very nice piece of gear. And this is, you can tell this is the high quality steel as well, because if you look at it, I've already showed you the two slots and how this fits in the slots. You can get wear on there between these two. So there is no question in my mind that they made this out of very, very strong materials. And just before we do leave this section, I can tell you that if you go to VegaTrem.com, which is where you can go and buy them too, what they've got on VegaTrem.com is a load of videos that show you exactly how to fit this. Now you can go and watch theirs, or you can watch mine. It doesn't really make much difference, but mine's a real one. Well, theirs might be a real one, but, well, like everything else, I'm going to show you what an ordinary user does with one of these, fitting it to a Strat. And if there are any problems, I'm going to show you the problems that I get. Now, I haven't particularly spent much time going along to their site, to be fair to VegaTrem, and watching their training videos, I'll call them that, because, well, I've had a bit of practice with tremolos, but I intend to go and have a look if I get a problem. And I don't intend to go and look if I don't get a problem. That sounds like a plan. Well, here I am. And today we've got a very fine specimen on screen. No, not me. The guitar. I can't do this sometimes. Anyway, today we've got the super specimen on screen. But this is a guitar I built, well, a few years ago actually. It's a Warmoth body, and it's a Fender neck. Well, it would be, what it could be. More about that later. And one of the things we've got coming up in the reviews, by the way, is probably one of the best guitars I will have ever built. That's a new build, and I'll be showing you some of the components as we go, and you might be shocked at some of them. They are awesome. Anyway, back to the VegaTrem. So when I built this guitar, I wanted it to be just that bit different than all the other ones out there. You've seen them. You can go for the genuine thing, the one with the 6 screws, or you could buy some compatible bridge. Well, let's face it, the Vega-Trem itself is a compatible bridge. It's not getting away from that, is there? But this particular tremolo that's fitted, this is, if I remember right, it's a Wilkinson one. It's always had problems, this did. I know. You only find out later, don't you? So, for the tremolo arm that fits in here, you might have had the same problem, and this is why I'm mentioning it. It's got a screw that's underneath that allows for the tension. And I can tell you now, it strips off faster. Well, you figure out what it strips off faster than. But it does. And when it does, it's useless. Right? The trem arm drops down around anywhere. And that's one of the reasons I was interested in this bit. It's all good. So the Wilkinson one, although it's relatively cheap, I think it was about 30 or 40 pounds, or maybe a little bit more than that. Would I put another one on? No, I wouldn't. I would never go back to this tremolo. So, as an update to that tremolo, if anybody's seen the original, no, after use, it's not a good idea. So moving along to a tremolo like this, actually will enhance this guitar quite dramatically, I think. But we shall see, won't we? Let me not get it right or get it wrong, I haven't done it yet. So, let's get in closer, whip this off, fit the other one. If there are any problems along the way, I'll be telling you. And I always like a floating tremolo. Now, some people do and some people don't, but that's what I'll be doing on this one. So let's get on with it. Okay, well, the strings are off, so I think I'll screw it apart. You know how to do that. Most people know how to change it, or at least take this thing off. You've got 6 screws here, and you've got a couple on the back that lets the springs off and that sort of thing. So I'm going to go and do that, and I'll be back in a second. Okay, well, there it is removed. The 6 screws off it and the rest of it. I won't spend too much time on this because it's not about this one really. But as a quick, a quick little aside, there's the screw that's underneath, and that adjusts the pressure on the arm itself that fits in there, and that strips exceedingly easily. There is no fix for it unless you start doing all sorts of rubbish, and to be honest, that's why I won't buy another one of these. Let's move it over there. What I should have done is I should have bought something of quality. But when I was doing the guitar, costs all add up. This body was really expensive, the neck was really expensive, and by the way, that's a genuine Fender Jeff Beck neck. The pickups were expensive. You can see what they are, roughly. And I spent the time on it, but there you go. I should have bought the better stuff in the first place, and then I wouldn't be sitting here changing that tremolo out, would I? Well, we've got to move on and fit this next, and it sort of fits there somewhere. So we're going to zoom in close and let you see what I did. Okay, well, taking a look at that little bar, it's got grooves in it, and they should face the outside where the trem's going to fit. But importantly, if you look at the holes on the top, my opinion is that the 2 outside ones are the first 2 that you're going to put in there. And the reason is they're on exactly the same place as where the Fender one should be. So I'm going to screw them 2 in, just loosely for now, and I'll be back. Now I do want to draw your attention to one thing about these. If you look at the old screws coming out and the new ones going in, you can see that the new screw, we'll call it that, is a bit longer. Just bear that in mind, won't you? Because the thing is, if you take these screws, if this was a bit thinner, or your guitar's got a shorter piece inside, well, I doubt it has, thinner piece inside, shall I say, the body's thinner, then that could turn out to be a problem. But just check with your screws. You can check very easily just by looking down like that. Because on one guitar I built, I did have screws that went all the way through and they come out the other side and didn't look very good. So always be careful about that, won't you? And as you can see on the screen now, the other holes are already pretty much lined up. Okay, well they are fitted there, they're fitted tight, it should all be good, that should, and it should just drop in nice and easily. My guess is it probably will drop in. But do bear in mind this width of this as well, because this body's built exactly to Fender specifications, do bear that in mind. So this is not too big or not too small or anything else, it's exactly like a Fender body. It's a Warmoth body and they build them well, really to the exact sort of thing. So if we fit that just loosely, you can see that you've got the grooves down there, and as you sort of fit into place, and you can see that it doesn't overhang the body at all. Well, these are the strings I'm going to be fitting, 9 to 42s. What more can I say? It's a bit awkward fitting this unit actually. You just got to be a little bit careful how you do it, but once it's in there, it's another story. So let me show you what I did. First things first, it says 9,000 strings, low tension. See that? And there they are, low tension. Yeah. And you've got a couple of very obvious low tension springs, but don't mix them up, will you? And what you do is you take these and fit them in here, like this. Yeah. Obviously you'll be slacked off and the rest of it, but you fit them in there, one each side, and screw these little screws into place to hold them in place. So I'm going to do that now. So when you've got it like this, as you can see there, springs stay in place. These should be at the sort of bottom end, so to speak, and yeah, you fit it in there, and then you get your strings and just stretch 1 and 6 to keep it in place, basically. I'm going to go and do that. Well, around the back there, these are just loose at the moment because this has been screwed out a little bit, and they're sort of holding that bridge roughly in place. So if we turn the guitar over, you'll see what I mean. So the bridge is just barely held in place, and it's got its fulcrum along here. So what we're going to do is fit 6 string on first string, just to pull it in line a little bit, and then we can start setting the thing up and getting it balanced and the rest of it. It's not rocket science, none of it is, and I guess once you get past this phase, the setting up of this tremolo is very similar to all the others, really. Yeah, so I'm going to fit the 2 strings and pull it into line a little bit, and adjust that back claw up a little bit, and we'll go from there. Just hold on. So basically where we're at the moment, these are just really slack, but this has been moved into the slot. We're just going to keep it into place. I'm going to go and fit the other strings now, and I'll be back in a moment. Okay, just taking a quick look inside here. This is now in tune. I have 2 low tensions and 1 extra low tension in the middle. That's what I needed. I ended up screwing these probably half a turn from where they were, so it wasn't really much of a problem, that wasn't. But note that I did put the extra low one in the middle, and without that it was difficult on this guitar to go any further. You can see that around the tremolo it's only just covering the hole. That's not really a problem in itself, and you don't really notice it once you notice it, but you get me. But it is there, and I'd like to have seen that back plate just a little bit longer, just to cover the fender hole, because this is exactly the same as a Fender body. So that would have been an improvement to me. And I think that other than that, don't forget you've got to do the intonation, because no matter what they say or how it's set there, you're going to have to do it to check to make sure that it's fitted properly and the intonation's correct on the guitar. Well, there it is. I've been back and checked the intonation. It was nearly right, funny enough. And I know that sometimes you can set these as a sort of average and arrive at near enough the intonation as it should be. Just one of them things. I've talked about it in other videos, but I won't bother you. And for the eagle-eyed of you that are out there, you'll notice that the tuners have been changed. They've been changed to chrome ones, but not because they're chrome. They've been changed to chrome ones because they're locking tuners, and I think that locking tuners and this tremolo go hand in hand a bit better, because there is a huge amount of workability, I'll call it that, on this tremolo. They've obviously spent a long time making it so that it can move a long way. And it reminds me somewhat of another product, actually. Yeah, the Super V. You heard of that one? Yeah, it reminds me of another product that I've actually reviewed before, and it's sort of similar, but different, if you get me. This one works on a fulcrum, and the Super V operates on a piece of spring metal. This one is slightly harder to fit than a Super V, but the Super V isn't cheap. You remember that, won't you? This is not a hyper low cost device, not by any means, but once it's on there, yeah, it was pretty good, and I like the feel of this one. That's a positive for it. There are some positives actually for this particular unit. It's not difficult to set up. It's now set up absolutely level, and that is, in my opinion, the right way, as they suggest, really. I guess if I push that in there, you know, you've got, I won't bother tightening it up too much. Well, I will. But you've got this huge amount of back, and there is no end to it. You could put it right up, and it goes forward a long way too. Well, it goes forward until that bar will slacken these right off, and that sort of thing. So, yeah, very good, very clever. And if you tighten this up, like I said earlier, it'll stay where you want it to. And I like that sort of thing, because they're always dangling down on them Fender things, aren't they? That's one of the reasons you'd buy one of these, is the accuracy, the amount of movement they've got, and this bar, it's all good. It's all good, that is. Is there anything I don't like? Looking at the VegaTrem, I mean, you can see it's on there. It's not that difficult to fit. It's a little bit finicky, for want of a better word, and even if you do go on their website, which I did later, yeah, it sort of gets there. It doesn't really talk about having to fit the springs and things like that to balance up to what you've got and your strings and things like that. You know, you've got all these other components. It talks about the springs in the manual. It's a very thin manual, but it is a manual, but it doesn't really go to the nth degree, I don't think. But for mine, with 9s to 42s, I used the ultra light one of them, and the light ones, 2 of them. Now, needless to say, you don't have to go and fit new tuners on your guitar to make it work. That's just me. I just wanted to update this guitar a little bit, and I think the tremolos are quite a big update on that earlier one that we looked at, and I think you need to bear that in mind. If you want something that's going to last a long time, these are the sort of units that you should be buying, and I can't knock this one. It does everything it says on the tin, so to speak. By the way, when I was talking about the steel on this unit, it uses actually stainless steel. So it's stainless steel, it isn't going to tarnish off like you might think, and I think that's a good thing. So what about warranty with this thing? Now, VegaTrem do actually offer a 2-year warranty, and that's good. I like to see longer warranties than just the 12 months or so. You know, the 12 months, boys, well, it says a lot about the products. And when I see products with a 2-year warranty or a 3-year warranty, or even a lifetime warranty of someone, whether it's honoured is another story. But in this case, it's a 2-year warranty, and there's nothing to be sniffed at with that. Yeah, it's good. So how would I score this thing? I mean, they did send it to me. Like I've said earlier, it doesn't make any difference to me with the scores and the rest. I'll always tell you what I found, and this video so far has shown you exactly what I found. I'd give this one, I'd give it a 9. Well, why would I give it a 9? Tony, surely it must be as good as you say. Well, it is as good as I say, but what I would say to you is this, that some people, not everybody, some people might not like that little gap. Some people might not like the way you fit it. That's not difficult if you're used to guitars and the rest of it, but some guys could be put off by that. For me, it makes no personal difference. I think that, yeah, it looks fine. I've had a Fender Strat like that from Fender with a gap at the side of it, things like that. So, you know, it's not unique to this company, not by any means. But I think the overall is it's a 9 out of 10. And for me, that is a very high score. So it's recommended, there's no doubt about that. And if you don't mind anything like that bit of a gap down there, most people won't, to be fair to it. I think you'll be onto a winner with this tremolo. They say, Vega-Trem say, that it's the biggest selling trem in the world. They say, I think. I think they did say that, or something very similar. So, you know, the thing is with a company like Vega-Trem, they're backing their product up, and that's what I like to see. And that helps their score no end by having a better than 1 year warranty. I think it all matters. And I hope it matters to you too, because if you want to buy something that isn't going to have a 2 year warranty and isn't going to last, you want one of the ones I pulled off. Oh, you want it? Yeah. Now, there is a lot of information down in the text about this tremolo, where you go to buy one, and VegaTrem.com and all that stuff. But there's also like chapters in the video, so you can go to different sections. If you just want to find out about one little section that I covered, you want to go there. It's going to be played in a minute. I do want to play it so I can show you roughly, you know, some of the extreme leverage that you can get from a Vega-Trem. I have to say, it's as good as any I've ever tried in that respect. I mean, it really is exceptional. So, yeah, don't forget to visit www.tonymackenzie.com if you get a chance. It hasn't got this on, but it's got loads of stuff on that I don't put on my channel, my YouTube channel. And yeah, you should go. Yeah, and don't forget to subscribe either. I need the subscriptions. It always matters. And I've got loads and loads of new reviews coming up, as well as the sort of 370 or 380 that are already on there. And trust me, people look at them all the time. Some more than others, admittedly, but that's life. And I hope this one's been helpful to you. Anyway, until next time, get out of here.